I have a Canadian passport, a UK passport. I have a Hong Kong permanent residency visa, and we don't know what the future reserves. And being able to have citizenship and residency in different jurisdictions really give me the option.
Có một sự thật khá là thú vị là những người sở hữu nhiều thẻ cư trú cũng như quốc tịch thứ hai trên thế giới lại không có ý định rời bỏ quê hương nhất. Với họ, việc sở hữu thêm một quyền hộ chiếu hay một tấm thẻ cư trú là một chìa khóa mở rộng thêm biên giới cho tài sản, cho quyền tự do và cho thế hệ tương lai kế tiếp. Hôm nay chúng tôi rất vinh dự đón tiếp anh Nicholas Florin, một chuyên gia liên quan đến đầu tư, di trú và tài chính, đã có hơn 20 năm làm việc tại thị trường châu Á. Anh hỗ trợ rất nhiều nhà đầu tư trong các chương trình khác nhau như chương trình EB5 của Mỹ, chương trình Startup Visa, visa khởi nghiệp của Canada, cũng như chương trình đầu tư để nhận thẻ thường trú tại Ireland và rất nhiều chương trình đầu tư khác đến tham dự với Btalk ngày hôm nay.
Right.
So, Mr. Nicholas, it's a pleasure of BSOP today to welcome you in our office and welcome to Btalk.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today and talk about my experience, talk about the motivation of the investors to look at mobility solutions.
Thank you very much. So before we dive into the main topic today, could you share with us about the first things that drew you into the investment immigration industry and what has you inspired you to stay such a long time in this business?
Well, I was a bankruptcy litigator back in my early career, which involves going to the court and defending companies against bankruptcy. And when I started to do investment immigration, it really changed my outlook on the practice of law, because we would bring positive solution to our client, and the end result would be life-changing, basically. And this is what really brought me to that business back in 2006. And I've never looked back. I've never thought of changing my practice again, because for the last 20 years, we've helped over 4,000 families to relocate, or actually having a plan B options through those investment immigration programs.
So from your experience working with investors over in many countries such as like Vietnam, China, India, what do you think the reason that they want to have a second passport or the residency in other countries?
But the first is the children. Children is the biggest motivation. A lot of our clients are looking to give them options to study overseas, and more it becomes difficult to get student visas or even acceptance in the best schools in the Western countries as foreigners. So this way, it is obvious that the investment immigration program gives them the option to acquire permanent residency and to be able to send their kids to school. So that's the first motivation. Of course, the investment immigration and the PR investment is also a question of some sort of asset allocation. You know, you can have more than one passport, more than one residency, and this way, no matter what happened, you know that you have options.
I understand what you mean, because as for our client, I think that we also notice a clear trend about our client, that they do not want to leave their home country. Mainly of them do not want to leave the home country, but they want to focus on the education of the children, on the assess allocation of different places. So I think that I can understand your point of view. In reality, many billionaires from Europe and US hold more than one passport or one residency in other country. So what, in your opinion, the motivation of the billionaire from the Europe or US, are they different from those of the Asian investors they are viewing?
Well, I can talk about myself personally. I have a Canadian passport, a UK passport. I have a Hong Kong permanent residency visa. And what was my motivation was this willingness to have freedom, basically mobility. And we don't know what the future reserves, and being able to have citizenship and residency in different jurisdictions really give me the option. You know, right now I'm resident of Hong Kong. Maybe my son will want to go study in London. Maybe they want to go back to my home country of Canada. By having those passports or residency, I have those options, right? So the motivation is more freedom, more mobility. When you're talking about Western people having more residency, you'd be surprised to know that right now some of the investor programs in the world, like Portugal, the biggest number of applicants are from the US.
Yeah,
right?
I'm also surprised about that because we look at the data and we recognize that the main investor, the most investor coming for the recent years are from US.
That's right. And US, can be explained by many factors. Could be political instability. Could also be the willingness of retiree to go to a European country, a Portuguese beach. So the motivation are different. Asian, from what I see, is more long-term plan, family planning. That is basically, I feel, in the DNA of our Asian clients, whereas the Western is more freedom, more emotional.
I think that because our main value, our core value is a family.
That's right.
So that's why family is all our we wondering about and taking care of. So that's why it makes a difference. But besides the things that you're mentioning, is tax also a thing you need to consider when you have a second residency or second passport as well, right?
Absolutely. Right now, for instance, United Kingdoms have changed their tax policies for high net worth individual, and you have seen over 20,000 very high net worth individual leaving the UK and relocate to more tax friendly jurisdictions, such as Portugal, for instance, or Greece. So definitely tax is a big issue. All the citizenship by investment as well has some tax optimization factors that Asian and as well as Western applicants are looking for.
So I know that you work in many different programs for immigration, such as EB5, SUV of Canada, Ireland investor program, and also with the Greek as well.
Yep.
So what do you think that each of the program will attract what kind of investor?
Each program has different characteristics, so it attracts different type of clients. EB5 in Canada, Ireland, English-speaking country, excellent education system, so it will attract people who really want to migrate there. So these are clients who are, or at least send their kids there, because most of our clients will not migrate themselves immediately. So they want to be able to send their kids to countries like that will give their kids a safe environment as well as top class education system. We're talking about Canada, US, Ireland. When we talk about Greece, it's mostly clients who are looking for more mobility. Greece is giving you a visa that gives you access to all the Schengen area in Europe. So that allows them to travel without having to apply for visa. A lot of our clients, particularly in Vietnam, thinks that applying for visa every time they want to go for vacation is a burdensome process. They just want to be on their phone, book a ticket, and then the next day they go to Rome, they go to Paris, they go to Athens. And this is what attracts a lot of our Greek clients. Yeah.
So the first program I like to discuss is about the Ireland Immigrant Investor Program, which is IIP. I understand that Irish government has announced its closure in 2023. Yet in practice, investor applications are still being accepted.
Right.
So our client is very wondering about how it is possible. Are there any legal provisions that safeguard the investor right at this stage?
Well, the rules are simple, and the Irish government has published official guidelines with respect to the Irish Immigrant Investor Program, the IIP program, we call it. Well, every project that have submitted their business plan before February 2023 can be processed. So that means they are endowment projects that have submitted their business plan, that have submitted at least one application. The government will process those projects. So this is why you can find in the market some project that still has available quota that allows applicant to invest. Once those quota are finished, then yes, the program will be terminated. There won't be any more quota available in the market unless the government reopens the program.
So I understand that the program is closed due to the legal pressure, but there will be project which is still have quota for this, but this is also limited, right?
Correct. So Eterna has had the chance to submit many projects before the announcement in 2023. So we currently have a few hundred quotas still available. We assess that those quota will be distributed, sold out by probably the end of 2026. So any clients who are interested in this program should consider it.
Okay. So if an investor, I think that is the most concern of the investor is about the securing the investment. So if an investor has completed the funding, but later they been denied the residency, then how is the money handled in this case?
Well, the Irish program is special in a way that the investment is taking place after the approval from the government. So the government will first look at the project as well as the profile of the client, source of fund, net asset. And if they accept this, then they invite the client to make the investment. So this way, there's no situation as the one that you described, contrary to other program where you must make the investment first and then the government will assess your application.
Okay, so it's a very safe investment because they will get approval before they do the funding, do the real funding, right?
That's right.
Okay, so besides this risk, from your experience, is there any other risk should be highlighted before the investor committed to this program?
Well, the investor must take a look at the partners that they are dealing with, because there are some documentation to be prepared to support your net asset, because you need to establish a net asset of a minimum of 2 million euros. So you need to make sure that you are dealing with a partner that knows how to document that part, right? Because otherwise you will submit your application, you will wait 1 year, then the government will say, well, you forgot to provide this document and that document. So this is why it's important to deal with an experienced provider.
Yeah, I think because this program is not officially open, it's just open for some quotas, that open for some projects. So you need to select the project very carefully.
That's right.
Make sure that this is eligible for the program as well.
Correct.
So I know that for this program, they require the demonstrate a minimum net worth of 2 million euro. What kind of assets it will be accepted as the, to prove that net worth, and also what kind of financial documentation they will need to show for this?
So the applicant can declare real estate property under his name, under the name of the spouse, if it's jointly owned. So real estate property, company equity as well, can be stock, money at the bank, investment like this that can be documented by bank statement, by stock account statement, companies by financial statements. So these are the documents that are required to establish the 2 million. We are providing a detailed checklist of the document to our applicant. It's very straightforward. And then before the application is submitted, the case is going through several verification by you, by your team of processing, by our team of processing, and finally by the Irish lawyer that will make a final look and will submit the application.
Okay, so can you please describe the IIP process from beginning to the end, so they can imagine which steps they will go through if they apply for this program?
So the first step is to sign a service agreement with the SOP. Then once this is done, we will be analyzing your net asset documentation, source of fund, which takes about a week, depending on how fast the client is, can be up to 2 weeks if it's a little bit slow. Then once it's ready, we're sending the document to the Irish lawyer for submission. Then the submission is a submission for what we call a Visa Stamp 4. So the Visa Stamp 4 allows the client to live there, to work, to study. Basically, it's the generic visa for any resident of Ireland that also gives you access to citizenship. Okay, so it's not like any other golden visa of other program. This is actually path to citizenship. You submit the application, and then the government will review the document that you have to support your net asset and your source of fund. If they approve, then you have 90 days to proceed to your investment.
Okay.
After 90 days, the government will receive the proof from the project that the money has been transferred, and then you will have the actual official approval. With the official approval, then you need to go to Ireland. Our team will help you there, pick you up at the airport, bring you to the immigration office to do your biometrics, to register with the immigration, and then you are officially a resident of Ireland.
Okay. So to put it very simply for the Vietnamese investor, what are the 3 to 5 key benefits that you think that IIP and the Irish program can provide to the clients?
But first of all, you can maintain your visa. It's very light to maintain your visa. You need to spend 1 day per year in the country. Most of our clients, if they don't live there, they will arrive maybe on December 31st, 1 day, and then January 1st, 2 days, then they cover 2 years. So that's very light. For clients who are very busy in Vietnam, this is much more flexible than other countries that will require much longer time of residency. That's advantage number 1. Advantage number 2 is it gives you access to one of the strongest passport in the world. The Irish passport is, I believe, number 3 in the world, in the sense that it gives you access to the United Kingdoms as a local. That means with your Irish passport, you can be working, studying in UK without having to apply for any visa, as well as all the EU countries, the 28 EU countries. So that's a huge advantage, very powerful passport. And finally, Ireland itself, and I was there 2 weeks ago to visit our office over there, is a great country to live. Amazing system of education, great job opportunities. All the big companies have their headquarters in Dublin. The actual basic salary, average salary in Dublin is higher than the average salary in London. So we have a lot of our clients who are actually sending their kids there, and the kids, they stay there and they work there and they make their life there. It's a beautiful country.
I think one of the most reason people find Ireland is a very interesting country is also because of the education system, of the English speaking environment, and especially for the kids. Yes. Because, like the reason why EB5, Canada and Ireland keep on, moving for many years is about the English speaking environment.
That's right.
So I can understand from your sharing that Ireland is for the people who want to stay there, and also for the people just want to have a, backup plan, because they do not need to really to reside in Ireland. So now as we dive deeper into each program, we are going to another program which is also related to Canada, related to Ireland, about the English-speaking country. I believe that all our audience, we want to hear your opinion and your practical insight about the renowned US EB5 program.
Yes.
So although EB5 requires significant higher investment comparing to the other 2 programs, but what do you think it remains the top choice of the investor for many Asian families seeking permanent residencies?
Well, immigration to US can be very complicated depending on the program that you choose. It can be very long as well. If you go for family reunion and then it's complicated because the program keeps on changing. Overnight, the government can announce that H-1B visa applicant must pay $100,000 and then get 24 hours to do so, right? EB5 has been a very stable program since early 1990s. It requires a significant investment. We're talking about now regional center projects that are located in a TEA area, an investment of $800,000, but it's stable. We know the conditions and we know the delay that are very reasonable, right? So this is attracting clients, of course, who are attracted to send their kids to US. It brings them stability. It brings them expectability, because once you submit your EB5 application, you know that it will be processed within a reasonable period of time, contrary to other programs.
So what is the current EB5 processing timeline? how long does it usually take to obtain a conditional green card and also unconditional green card?
But you first need to do your investment, then you apply for the I-526E application, which takes 8 to 12 months to get approved. Then you submit your visa application, which take a few months to be approved. So the conditional green cards, from the investment to the moment you have it, we're talking about 1.5 years, 2 years. Then you are in US under your conditional green card. 2 years after you apply for the removal of that condition based on the job creation, I-829 petition, and that basically will take 2 years after your I-526E application approval.
What about the refunding of the investment that they are doing?
Well, this depends on the project. So it's very important for the client to choose a project that has a reasonable exit strategy, right? A lot of projects are very flashy, very good marketing, but when you're digging the financial, it's a little bit, a lot of things must happen for the money to be paid back. So financial, cap stack, who is investing in this project, how far is the construction? These are all considerations that the client must look at before investing.
So you've been working with the client as a lawyer and also with the regional center as well to work to see the EB5 project. So what do you think that the first factor you will examine when you assess the EB5 project regarding its safety and repayment potential of the client?
But the track record of the developer, right? So all the investments, the EB5 investment have to be usually in form of a loan to a developer or even equity investment in a developer. You have to look at their track record. Are they reasonable? Do have good reputation? Do they have a history of not paying back their investors? So this is number one. Then number two is the location of that project. If you are building a residential building in the middle of nowhere, what are the odds of that project generating the income necessary to pay back the EB5 investment? That's another consideration. Then is there a bank involved, or it's only EB5? If it's only EB5, one may wonder why a bank didn't agree to invest, right? And finally, the exit strategy. Is there already in place a structure that will guarantee the EB5 investment, or at least will explain how the EB5 investment will be repaid?
Okay. So if a project they chosen underperform in sale or leasing, so how are the EB5 investor repayment priority for safeguarded in this case?
It depends on the project. It depends on the rank that the EB5 investor has as creditor. Sometimes they are equity investors, so that means they're coming last. If they are lending the money, they have a much higher rank than equity investors. So it really depends, project by project. The devil is in the details, so it's very important to understand the structure of your investment.
So which one is more safer? Is safer, like loan or equity? Will be safer?
It's a personal preference, and it really depends on your appetite for risk, right? I prefer loan project because you have collaterals, and then you have a term, 5 years, 3 years. In our case, it's a 3 years investment. After 3 years, then the borrower must show up, pay back, or do something, right? Where if you are in equity, then you are basically, there's an open end most of the time.
Very, very logical point of view from a lawyer. Very protective with the client as well. So what kind of fund sources are eligible to for the EB5 program?
Well, income, company dividend, selling of real estate property, which is the most common one in Vietnam. These are all source of funds that are qualified. We are usually sitting down with a client to look at their asset, what are the easiest for them to liquidate, and then we will document that process.
Okay. So in your opinion, what concerns most the Vietnamese investor regarding the EB5 program? The capital risk, the lengthy processing timeline, or the likelihood of obtaining a green card?
all of this.
All of this.
All of
Okay.
this. So they will say, well, the important is the visa first. It's true, but it's not true. So they want the visa, they want their money back.
Yeah.
And they don't want to wait 10 years to get it. So these are all very important considerations for Vietnamese clients.
Yeah.
Right? And they have to sign piles of contracts. And at the end of the day, they don't really care. They want their money back and they want their visa. So it's very important for anybody who's involved in EB5 in Vietnam to take this into account.
Yeah. Actually, when we have something, we want something more and more and more and more.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the people, because they do not just that simply satisfies with one thing. When they get it, they will get another one.
That's right.
Yeah. So clearly, EB5 is not just about the 800,000 US investment. It is a strategy decision also. They require investors to carefully define their needs, objective, and financial capacity, and other critical factors as well.
Correct.
In this. So returning to the Asian investor, because I know that you've been working with Asian investor for many years. Which group asks the most question? It's just, personal question. Like Vietnamese, Chinese, Indians.
Vietnamese, by far. Which is great. The Vietnamese are very detail oriented. They are educated. There are some of them. They will read the documents and they will ask tons of questions, which is fine, which we really welcome.
So what are they most concerned?
But it depends on the program. It's all about the qualification. First of all, they want to make sure that they qualify, right? They are looking at cases where clients were not accepted, and they want to make sure that this is not them. So they're very careful about choosing the program. And then after that, they want the process to be quick. So they want to understand, what is the procedure for each program. And when it's about an investment, then they really want to understand how the money will be returned to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is their top priority? Like they want to focus in education, in legal services, legal security, the taxation, or travel freedom mainly?
It depends on the segment. Education is always there, right? Family is definitely priority number one. Asset allocation becomes more and more a priority, more and more a topic during discussions with investors. I would say these are the two main issues that are discussed.
So many investors has a fear that being misled because there are sometimes fake projects or unreliable consultant. In your opinion, what is the most important criterion to select the right advisor?
Well, their track record. How long have they been in this industry, this market? Usually, these are cycles, right? So cycles of 5 years. Sometimes they are downturned in cycles. You see if this player has been there for many years, that means he's been through a few cycles already. So I would say this is something that they should look for. And then if they ask questions and they don't have the answer, usually that should trigger some questions.
Yeah, I agree with you, because time is the most valuable assessor for somebody or some business. I believe that Eterna is also has a very long history in immigration and investment business. As for us, BSOP as well, we have a history of 15 years working in this kind of business, going through COVID period, many financial downtime and all the time is going. So at least that will show that we still have a stability to stay in the market for that long. I think that's the most important to assessing the advisor and the consultant in this case. So thank you, Mr. Nicholas, for today's sharing, because such practical and very valuable perspective from your side. So to conclude for today, Btalk, do you have any final message that you want to share with BSOP audience?
Well, for immigration, if you have the guts feeling you need to do it, usually it's time for you to do it. It's never a good idea to wait. So the team of BSOP, I'm at their office right now. It's a very dynamic team. A very important team as well. Do not hesitate. Stop by the office, ask all the questions you need, and you'll get the service.
Thank you very much for today's meeting, and I hope that see you in the next Btalk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thưa quý vị, trong buổi trò chuyện với anh Nicholas ngày hôm nay thì chắc là mọi người đều có thể thấy được là bài toán đầu tư di trú không chỉ là vấn đề câu chuyện về đi hay ở, cũng không phải chỉ là đích đến, mà nó còn là phương tiện để anh chị có thể nhìn được thế giới, mở rộng các cơ hội về tài sản, về quyền lợi di trú, giáo dục cũng như là tương lai của thế hệ tiếp theo. Cảm ơn anh chị đã theo dõi cuộc trò chuyện của BSOP ngày hôm nay với anh Nicholas và rất là hy vọng sẽ gặp lại mọi người vào những chuỗi tiếp theo của Btalk. Xin cảm ơn và hẹn gặp lại.